Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Indeed, life is but a dream. And as we began to sail down the stream, we met a river. And here we are to present a short video on the rivers of Goa.
We, the students of St. Michael High School, Taliga, are really excited to begin our journey, which is nothing short of a river cruise as we wade through 7 major rivers of Goa, namely Zuari, Mandovi, Terekhol, Chapora, Sal, Talpona and Galjibak.
Water is the source of all life on earth, be it in the form of glaciers, oceans, rivers and seas. Along Goa's coastal belt, A is for Anjuna, B for Baga, C for Kalangut and Kolba, and all this underline the fact that rivers are vital to Goa's identity, economy and ecology. Protecting these lifelines require collective effort and awareness, and here are my students with such an awareness campaign. Flipping through some of the amazing assignments produced by my students on the topic Rivers of Goa, I said, why not dive into those rivers? And here we are. I take this moment to applaud and appreciate the effort of my students in producing this video. May this splash you make turn into a wave that lead you onward. Remember, ships are safe at harbor, but that's not what they are made for. So go on and explore.
Goa is the party destination of India and draws thousands to its shores, right from Keri Beach in North Goa to Pole Beach in South Goa. We have 7 major rivers in Goa, all of which drain into Arabian Sea. Now we have Mansi Yadav, who will take a ferry ride across the Terekhol River.
Having enjoyed the ferry ride, I am mesmerized by the beauty and serenity of this Terekhol village. If you are looking for peace, this is the place to be, which is far away from crowded beaches and chaotic traffic. Perched on a hillock in this tiny village is Terekhol Fort. The northernmost river of Goa has its origin at Manohargarh in the Western Ghats, which are also known as Sahadris. It flows from the Sindhudurg district into Goa and serves as a natural boundary between Goa and Maharashtra. In its upper reaches, it is known as Bandar River and Terekhol in the lower reaches. Patra Devi is the entry point of the river into Goa, and its main tributaries are Tosh, Kadsi and Pednin. Terekhol River sustains the traditional livelihood of thousands of people in Pednin. Fishing is undoubtedly a traditional occupation, but what hurts the riverbank is excessive sand attraction. Some estimates suggested that attraction in the Terekhol River constitutes about 35% of the total sand attracted from rivers in Goa. If the riverbank is collapsing, it's time for us to attend to this issue with urgency, and time for us to move to another riverbank.
Here am I at the famous Chapora fort that has been christened by some of the local tourists as Dil Chahta Hai Fort. The Chapora River is also known as Kolwal River, runs its course by the fort before merging to the west endless blue waters of the Arabian Sea. The river is about 32 kilometers long and rises in Maharashtra at Hajgoli and enters Goa at Ibrampur village in Penem. With all its twists and turns along the village of Goa, it demarcates the borders Penem, Bardes and Bicholim talukas. Important to note is the fact that in the 18th century, this river marked the boundary between Portuguese-ruled Goa and India. To the north of this river is Moji Beach, which is famous for being a nesting site of endangered olive ridley sea turtles as well as its diverse bird life. Look the other way and we are able to trace the famous Bagator beach which is located at the estuary to the south. The main tributaries of the Chapora river are Anjuna, Sal, Kalna Virnoda and Parshe. Visitors frequent the waters of Chapora not just for its breathtaking view but for its houseboat cruises and kayaking activities. Moreover, for those who love to feel the rush of adrenaline, the Chapora River is considered as the hub of flyboarding. From the houseboat cruises of Chapora, it's now time to go to the crowded cruise boats on the Mandovi River.
Mandovi is the largest and most important river in Goa. To see the top view, I have perched myself of Fort Reyes Magos to complete a hat-trick of Goa's historic fort. The Portuguese conquered Goa in 1510 and this historic fort was erected in 1551 to protect the narrowest point at the mouth of the Mandovi estuary. This river is known as Madai as well as Mandovi in Goa. Surla, Valvanti and Mapsa rivers are the some tributaries of this rain-fed river. It is known as the Madai River in Karnataka, where it originates in the Western Ghats from a cluster of 30 springs at Bhimghat in the Belgavi district. It enters Goa after flowing for good 35 kilometers in Karnataka and flows further for another 82 kilometers before embracing the Arabian Sea. This river enters Goa via Sattari Taluka and is known as Madai. Interestingly, Akashvani Panji has christened its local channel as Madai, which brings to its listeners the rhythm of Goa. After rivers Madai's confluence with the Khandepar River in Bicholi, it is called Mandovi all the way down up to Panjim where it flows into the sea. This river sustains the resource-rich Sattari talukas besides nourishing the ecology of Sange, Bicholim, Darbandoda, Fonda, Bardesh and Tiswadi talukas. It is the sustenance of these talukas which is threatened by the Kalasa Banduri Nala project. Mansi, since you aspire to be a lawyer, could you shed some light on the controversy surrounding this project?
Well, yes. Who hasn't heard about the Mahadai water dispute that had even become a flashpoint during the recent general election? It all began with the project undertaken by the government of Karnataka to improve drinking water supply to the three districts of Belgavi, Dharwad and Gadag. It involved building a dam across Khalasa and Banduri, two tributaries of Mahadai River to divert water into Malprabha River, which supplies drinking water to the Belgavi, Dharwad and Gadag. Similarly, Maharashtra's proposal to construct a dam near Virdi village raised apprehension about altered water flows and ecological consequences. Goa, as a downstream state, projected its reliance on Mahadai water as a primary source of fresh water and petitioned to consider the issue of salinity ingression. As the dispute is heard in the Supreme Court for decades, the central government has appointed Pravah to try and resolve the issue.
Thank you, Mansi. You are indeed going to be a commendable lawyer. Well, Goa does depend on the Mandovi for varied reasons. It provides drinking water for the 43% of the Goa's population. It is also a primary source of water for domestic, agriculture, and industrial use. The fishing community too banks heavily on the Mandovi. And if you thought that a river bank is the only bank without any money, you must take a peek at the casinos floating on the Mandovi. However, the significance of this river lies in the fact that it is essential waterway for Goa, supporting agriculture, transportation, and water supply. The Mandovi River is therefore known as the lifeline of Goa due to its significance for the state's ecology, culture, and economy.
Goa, the tiniest state of India, is divided into two districts, North Goa and South Goa. These two districts are separated by the waters of the Zuari River. Across the river is the Akshay Kuttale Bridge or the Zuari Bridge, which connects Agasai in North Goa to Kortali in South Goa and serves as a link between the two districts. Konkan Railway Bridge also runs across this river, and the newly constructed cable-stayed Zuari Bridge happens to be the widest bridge of India. When it comes to the length of the river, Zuari takes its pole position as the longest river of Goa and has the second largest basin after Mandovi. It originates at Hemad Barshe in the Western Ghats and flows a zigzag stretch of about 145 kilometers before joining the Arabian Sea at Mormugao, Donapaul Point. The port city of Vasco da Gama, which is one of the best natural harbors of India, is at the mouth of the Zuari River. The Salauli Dam, that provides water for drinking and irrigation, is located on the Guleli River, which is a tributary of the Zuari River. Its other tributaries are the Kushavati River and the Uge River. Recent findings by A.K. Chaube, a scientist with National Institute of Oceanography, Donapaul, revealed that 20,000 years ago, the Mandovi and Zuari used to float together as one massive water body. This continuity is maintained in another way by 17-kilometer long Kumbhajua Canal that connects Mandovi and Zuari. Together they form the two lifelines of Goan economy. Although they are used extensively for iron ore transportation and for fishing, they constitute one of the most fertile in the areas in the entire Konkan coast, and they provide ideal conditions for the growth of mangroves.
Once upon a time, River Sal was the lifeline of Salsette. The Sal, which runs from Verna to Betul, is the third longest river in Goa, with a length of 35 kilometers and has the third largest basin as well. The river originates as a small stream from the ancient site of the Malsa temple at Verna. Downhill, the river's main channel is formed in the paddy fields between Arosim and Kasauli. It passes through Margao, Naveli, Dramapur, Chichini, and Asolna before it drains into the Arabian Sea at Betul. Navelim and Kukorim are the two significant tributaries of this river. According to the older generation of the trader community of Margao, Betul would receive a large quantities of goods from foreign countries, and after the custom formalities, the then Portuguese regime at Betul, the goods were loaded into canals to transport via Sal to Khareband Margao.
Furthermore, the once flourishing salt industry of Salsette is almost dead, with the disappearance of the salt pans from the banks of River Sal. Interestingly, the Sal is a geological and hydrological oddity, as it is the only river that flows in the north-south direction before entering the Arabian Sea at Betul.
River Talpona originates in Sahyadri Mountains and comes down by passing Bhatpal, fed by the Bhatpal tributary, with Natke, Gaundongri and Khalvade being the other tributary of this river. The river runs through Kankona for 30 kilometers before emptying itself into Arabian Sea between Talpona and Rajbagh beach.
खुशाल पण दिवू जीवाक पुरे मुदास करूंक जाय जाल्यार बरे मायाच्या म्हयन्यात लोकांची रे कोंगोटीचे प्रायेर.
is one of the important rivers of South Goa. It originates in the hilly areas of Uttar Kannada district of Karnataka and enters Kankona near Mule and flows till Poingini before meeting the sea near Mashi.
Rivers are not just sources of water, but rather the backbone of human civilization. Water supports life. Therefore, human beings are trying to find water on the moon and on Mars. Yet, we fail to preserve water that is found in abundance on Earth.
Water pollution is one of the most pressing environmental issues of our time. It affects not only the aquatic ecosystem but also the health and well-being of people who rely on these water sources. Right behind me is the Santinas Creek, in which the Goa State Population Control Board has found high raw sewage contamination in the waters. Samples were collected from 27 spots along the creek at Santinas, Karanzalim and Kamrabat in Taligaon. The reason of high sewage in creek waters is because many houses along the creek directly discharge their sewage into the creek. This creek flows out into the Mandovi river, polluting its water.
In what could be an eye-opener for Goans, a central government report on the pollution level of rivers has revealed that 6 rivers in Goa are among the 311 rivers across India that are polluted. Khandepar, Kalne and Mapsa are the minor rivers and 3 main rivers, Mandovi, Zuari and Sal. These rivers are polluted with industrial waste, pharmaceutical waste, mining waste, discharge of sewage into the waters as well as the pollutants discharged by the casinos and cruises that operate in Goa's waters. In 2012, former Chief Minister of Goa, late Manohar Parrikar, described River Sal upon an inspection as worse than the Santines Nala. Even in Ponda, for instance, the Kharpaban Nala, which was a freshwater stream, some years back has been reduced to a foul-smelling vein which flows into Zuari at Agapur Durbar jetty. Along Goa's coastal belt, a high density of sprawling hotels have contaminated groundwater and the private wells in its vicinity.
Goa's well-known beaches too are turning toxic. As per 2021-2022 water quality data analysis of Goa State Pollution Control Board, Miramar, Terekhol, Vagator, Morjim, Mobor, Baina, Belsav, Galjibag are most polluted. If the tourism industry dies in Goa, what will Goa survive on is a $1,000,000 question.
Small acts that seem insignificant but have the cumulative effect on the pollution of river include throwing garbages into the river as well as during festivals the Visarjan of Ganpati is made out of plaster of Paris. Mandovi and Zuari are described as the lifelines of Goa, and yet they are gasping to stay alive as pollutants throttle these rivers. It's high time we look after our water bodies because our survival is at stake. Rivers provide water for agriculture as well as for pisciculture. The local fishing communities bank heavily on these rivers for their livelihood. Tourism will definitely go for a toss if the conditions of our rivers deteriorate. And last but not the least, the collapse of our rivers ecosystem will affect the flora and fauna, including fishing species and mangrove forests, which are vital for maintaining ecological balance.
Rivers not only provide us water, they also give us life. Therefore, it is not sufficient to declare the rivers as lifelines of Goa, but also imperative to keep the rivers clean. It's time to thank God for the gift of rivers and protect them. They in turn will protect us. Let us not forget that the water cycle and life cycle are one.
Save water, save